So Cursed Hollow. Oh.
No.
Not you.
Artist time.
I'm next.
Whoops.
So we weren't finished with King's Crest just yet. We wanted to see what the outlying countryside might look like. Out here, where the King's Law was barely a whisper, the Raven Lord set up his domain. And of course, more concepts were drawn up. Most of these we focused on, like the fall harvest and a huge raven motif. The colors themselves give this whole map, this whole battleground, a different feel. It's very spooky, it's very somber, and of course, perfect place for the knights and the grave golems to live. This map also has a unique objective to it, and Ku here will be talking about that.
But I'm going to pass that privilege over to my buddy Matt.
Knew it.
So now I'm actually going to talk about Cursed Hollow. So with Cursed Hollow, we wanted to create a battleground that encouraged early team fights. We wanted to pull players out of lanes early on, but we didn't want to keep them out of lanes for too long. So we came up with this idea of tributes. And when a tribute spawns, it spawns in a random location on the battleground. And players have to come out and channel on this tribute to collect it. And if you gather 3 tributes, you give your team a map-wide power play. The enemy minions are significantly weaker, and their forts don't even fight back. And of course, as I mentioned, because these tributes spawn in random locations, there's different strategy depending on where they spawn. So if they spawn near a friendly watchtower, you might not have to send your whole team to fight over it. But if it spawns deep in enemy territory, you might have to give it up or do a big team push to try and secure it. So this is a pretty standard 3-on-2 in the bottom lane on Cursed Hollow. We see players are kind of skirmishing, but a tribute is going to spawn soon. So players are going to have to leave the lanes. Now the tribute is spawning pretty close to this lane, so it kind of makes sense that all 5 of these players are going to go contest this tribute. But we're also having Stitches come in from another lane to try and help out his team. So as the tribute spawns in, a player has to channel on the tribute to collect it. But you can't just ninja the tribute. You actually have to control the area because damage prevents the channel. So we see the team fight's going to continue, and it looks like the red team has kind of pushed them back, and they're going to attempt to channel on the tribute again. But channeling on the tribute actually takes quite a while. So the blue team's able to come back in and force the fight. And we'll notice not all 10 players are fighting at this tribute. There are still players in other parts of the battleground pushing lanes or taking objectives. And it looks like Tyrael and Tassadar were able to clean up. Tassadar is now going to channel on the tribute, and Tyrael is actually going to stay nearby Tassadar to make sure that they're actually able to secure this tribute and no more team fighting occurs. So when you gather 3 tributes, that's when you actually summon the curse. So this team with Aether have 2 tributes right now, and Aether is going to collect the 3rd tribute. Now Aether is traditionally a pretty low damage hero. He can't normally kill minions or structures too quickly, but because of the curse, his damage is basically amplified against the minions and structures. So we see with a single Holy Radiance, he's just able to annihilate the minion wave. And we're cheating a little bit here. The structures would not normally die that quickly, but they don't fight back. And Stitches is outnumbered. He's against a level 95 Aether, so he goes down pretty quickly. And we see here the towers don't actually shoot back at Aether because of the curse. So the enemy team is basically forced to fight fires all over the map.
So let's take a look one more time at this creative freedom I've been talking about. Once again, we've applied the Raven Lord aesthetics to everything on the map, like the front of the catapults and towers having Raven motifs, and the walls and towers being kind of more decrepit and crumbly and wrought iron. We really, really like doing this, and the thing we like the most is it gives us the creative freedom not to be bound to things like ogres or goatmen or things from other universes. Yeah, we can do those in specifically themed maps, but as a general rule of thumb, this is a very universal, iconic character that will always be understood no matter what tile set you're on, and they always will work the same way. You just see slight variations. So here are the variations for the knights, and these guys are just super hardcore black knights waiting in the forest, and they have their shrines. But because they're iconic and we always know what they look like, we know we're going to need teamwork to defeat them, and that once they're defeated, they'll join our forces and be a really awesome pushing power.
Okay, we have one more battleground out there right now. It's called the Haunted Mines. And this one takes heavily from the Cursed Hollow tile set, so you'll see a lot of similar things. But we also themed it for the mines themselves, so we created mine tracks and the mines. and just smaller details, and it really gives this Battleground a different feel. But the main difference for this Battleground is the mines themselves.